saving money is not enough for wealth creation. You need to invest your money because that is the key to wealth creation. Then you need to actually systemize your money. Now you may ask me, what do I mean by systemizing your money? Systemizing your money entails that you need to divide your money into some certain percentage every month you earn that paycheck, or every month you are actually paid your salary. Your money should be divided into three parts. One part should be for savings, one part should be for investment, and the other part should be for spending. Now, as a rational human being, you need to first give priority for investment first, then other things can actually follow. You give priority to investment first, then you can now give priority to savings. Then the remaining part of the money can actually be used for spending. So systemizing your money entails that you divide your money into investment, into savings, and into spending. Number 5 thing for you that you need to do before you're actually 40 is that you need to pay off your debt. You see, a lot of us find ourselves in an insurmountable situation of debt payment every year. You pay debt from January to December. Now, if you want to actually be successful in life, having debt is not the key to success, because someone actually told me some time ago that if he's actually working, he should be able to have access to loans, and when he collects this loan, he only has this privilege as long as he's working. By the time he's not working again, he may not be able to have access to this loan. That belief or concept or idea is totally wrong. Even when you are not working officially in an organization, you can still have access to loan, most especially if you have a company of your own. So having or obtaining loan is not the key to success, except you have something you want to do with that money that can yield more profit for you at the end of the day. The reason why I don't encourage people to go for loan is because right now in our part of the world, paying interest on loan is very high. In Nigeria now, I know of some banks that are taking or charging about 38% on interest on loan collected from the banks, which is a very big amount of money. So taking loan from a bank and you don't have anything tangible, or that money cannot create what I call a multiplier effect for you, or cannot generate value for you, it's a waste of time, because you are making other people to be rich. So if you want to be successful in life, you need to pay up all your loans. Now, there are different approaches to paying a loan. You can do what I call the avalanche method, or you can do what I call the snowball method. Now, what is the avalanche method? Avalanche method entails that for you to pay up the loan, you start from the highest interest loan. That is, the loan that attracts the highest percentage of interest is the one you start paying first. Then, if you're talking about the snowball method, it means that you start from paying from the lowest interest. So you can adopt the avalanche method or the snowball method, depending on your preferences. So paying up your debt in time without defaulting is actually one of the mediums to actually build wealth for yourself before you're actually 40 years. Then you need to start spending less money, because as a human being, we have an insatiable taste for everything. Most especially if you are keeping your money in the bank in form of saving, you are always tempted to spend that money. So you should have what I call financial discipline. You should be able to discipline yourself financially by spending less. Then you can also work more to earn more money. And in this area, I'm also actually talking about what I call creating what I call a passive income, or other means of generating money for yourself. Another thing you need to do, which brings me to number 6 point, is that you need to stop your dump spending. Spending. You see, a lot of people have been asking me, what do I mean by the word dump spending? When I talk about dump spending, I'm talking about stupid spending. A lot of us, due to our lack of financial education, we engage more in what I call dump spending. And when you're talking about this dump spending, it's like you're spending your money on things that cannot actually create value for you. You are spending more of your income on liabilities. A lot of us are guilty of this. We spend our income on liability instead of spending our income on the assets. Liabilities will actually create a hole in our pocket, but assets will create wealth for us. So when you're talking about spending, we need to be smarter, we need to be matured, and we need to be disciplined in terms of spending. A lot of us, we buy wristwatch, designer t-shirts, clothes, shoes, expensive wares, and the rest of them that we don't necessarily need. We spend a lot of our hard-earned money on most of these things. Apart from that, we live in extravagant or expensive environment. We use expensive cars. We want to measure up with the societal value or materialistic society in which we live in by trying to give an impression to people that we are actually very, very rich or we are wealthy. But deep down, most of these things that we buy are not actually funded by our money. They are funded by what I call loans, credit card, buy now, pay later, easy buy, and the rest of them. And in most cases, these things attract a lot of interest. We pay a lot of interest on them. Now, if you are very careful and you actually sat down or you sit down to calculate the amount of money you are paying as an interest on all these things I've mentioned now, you are going to discover that you are paying a lot of money. You are using 50 to 70% of your money to fund these loans in form of interest. Now, calculate that money in a year, then you realize that you are spending a lot of money that you have used to do something meaningful in life in terms of investment, rather than what showing off, buying materialistic things, and what engaging in ostentatious lifestyles or living, using expensive cars, using expensive designer shirts, wristwatches, shoes, and the rest of them. They all create holes in our pockets. You need to stop buying these things, most especially when they are actually creating dust in your house or they are not creating a value. Now, apart from that, you are actually making other people to be rich when you buy most of these things. Then you're also making other people to be rich when you actually go for these loans, buy now, pay later, and easy buy, and the rest of them. You are making other people to be rich. So you need to start spending money smartly. You need to start spending money maturely. You need to start spending money in a well-disciplined matter or way, so that you can be able to accomplish your goals even before you are actually 40 years old. You wonder or realize that in advanced countries, most people actually retire very early. But in developing countries, people even at 70 or 65 years, they are still working. Why? You ask yourself. Because at that stage, they have not been able to accomplish their dreams and aspirations in life. And that's why even when they are supposed to be retired, they are still working and struggling every day when they are supposed to be retired. The reason is that most people don't actually prepare for the future. Number 7 thing which you need to do before you are 40 years is that you need to get what I call income producing investment. Income producing investment. You see, there are so many income producing investment that can actually put your money into, that can make money for you. I have done so many videos regarding this, so you can watch most of those videos on my platform, Greater Mindset, where I actually dissected those businesses that you can actually do, or those investment portfolios you can actually put your money into and can get you money at the end of the day, or produce income for you. So you need to get what I call income producing investment. There are so many income producing investment that you can actually do. So let me just quickly rush through them. You can invest your money into shares. A lot of companies in Nigeria, they sell shares, and you get some percentage in form of a dividend at the end of every financial year. You can invest your money into stocks. For example, you can invest your money into S&P 500. You can invest your money into ETFs. You can invest your money into index funds. You can invest your money into mutual funds, depending on the one you actually wanted. There are so many financial institutions that actually offer these facilities in Nigeria. For example, you have what I call the First Bank West, First Bank of Nigeria West. You have Quantum Zenith, the one of Zenith Bank. Then you also have the one of Stanbic IBTC. You can walk up to them and find out, and they will advise you on which investment portfolio that you can actually choose from. So if you want a very good financial trajectory in life, where life is going to be devoid of worries, of financial problems, and health complicated issues and the rest of them, where you are going to develop yourself of depression and the rest of them, investment is actually the key that you actually need to unlock yourself, to unlock the future, where you can actually have a life full of bliss and happiness, when you can have what we call physical fitness, mental fitness, spiritual fitness, and financial fitness. When you have this four, then you can say that you're actually wealthy in their life. So you don't need a lot of money to actually start this investment. Like for example, in Nigeria, you can start with as much as 5,000 naira to start investing. It was as low as 5,000 naira, something like that. So I remember when I started some years back, I started with, I don't want to mention the amount of money I started with, and today I'm proud to say that I'm getting money every day. And so what I'm trying to say here is that I'm able to create a side, income for myself apart from my primary job. You don't need a big amount of money to start this investment. It requires a small amount of money. I know of people now that are earning like $10 in a day. $10 in a day now is about 16,000 naira in Nigeria. Imagine you working, and on the other hand, you are making 16,000 naira in a day. In a month, that is a big amount of money. That is a big amount of money. So that means that you are making 63, that's almost 480,000 naira in a month. Imagine you are making 480,000 in a month. Calculate that in what? In 10 calendar months. That is 4.8 million naira, and you can earn more than that. So investment is actually the key to the future if you want to enjoy your life at the end of the day, when you are not working, or even before you are actually retired. So you could invest in so many things, like stocks, like shares, like real estate, like mutual funds, like S&P 500, like ETFs, like index, depending on actually your choice. Now, number 8 thing that you need to do before you are 40 years old is that you need what we call a protection plan. A protection plan. You see, someone will ask me, what do you actually mean by a protection plan? When you're talking about a protection plan, you're talking about now that you've started investing your money and things are going on smoothly for you. You need to protect your wealth. That's what we're saying here. You need to protect your wealth, because life happens. Anything will happen to you, as a breadwinner of your family. And if your family, you don't actually prepare very well for them, they might find themselves in a very bad financial mess. So to avoid this financial mess, you need protection plan. So you need to protect your money, you need to protect your assets. And for you to actually protect your assets and also be able to take care of the family, as a breadwinner, even when you're not there any longer, you need what I call a lawyer or an attorney. Your lawyer, your attorney will actually help you to protect your money. You also need a what? An accountant. An accountant will actually help you to monitor your money. They also need what I call an insurance. In case anything happens, you can actually insure the life of your family, so that if anything happens, your family can still actually live their life. So you need to insure yourself, you need a lawyer, you need an accountant, and you need all these things so that when you're not there any longer, your family can still live their life. They will not suffer, they will not go through any form of pain. I can remember a story some time ago of a friend that was very, very sick, and he's actually investing his money now. He said he made that sickness actually made him to understand that he was not prepared for eventuality in life, because he felt that he was going to die, but thank God he did not die. But he learned his lesson, and now he's actually investing his money, because right from time he wasn't investing his money, and while he was on the sick bed, he was pleading and begging people to take care of his family, that in case he dies, his family should not suffer. But in the world we're in today, who's going to care for your family? Who has that time to care for your family? Once you are gone, you are gone. But if you are actually prepared very well, your family will not lack anything, even when you are not there. In other words, you are actually creating a generational legacy. Generational legacy, where you can actually pass your wealth from yourself to your children. Your children can pass it to their own generation, from one generation to another generation. The number 9 thing that you actually need in your life before you're actually 40 years is what I call financial education. You need to build your financial education. I, for one, am actually building my financial education, and part of my building of my financial education is this platform. I'm actually, lecturing people on every day, just to open the mindset of people that they can do more better than what they're actually doing now. So you need to brushing up your financial education, and one of the ways you can actually, increase your financial education is by watching a video like this, is by reading a lot of books on finances, is by going on the internet and watching videos that can actually elevate you and build you up. You can actually go for a lesson where you pay some certain amount of money, where you can actually be taught on how you can actually build a wealth for yourself. Because today now, people don't build up themselves financially today now, because a lot of people are actually engaged in watching Netflix, watching videos and the rest of them from morning till night, and there's nothing like financial education. I can remember some time ago I went to an organization like that to make an inquiry, and in the course of our discussion we went into finances, and I was so surprised on that, because a lot of them in the organization do not have any idea about how to build their money, on how to build financial education. And I was able to lecture them, I was able to teach them, I was able to enlighten them, and they actually appreciated my effort on that day. So you need to build up your financial education. The last one which I'm going to talk about now, which is number 10, is that you need to build up your succession plan, or you need to think about your succession plan. What do I mean by succession plan? You see, life actually happens. Any event or any circumstances or anything can actually happen in life. Now, before you actually go into demise, or you actually leave this world, you should be able to build up what I call generational wealth for your children, so that when you are not there there again, or you have left this world, your children cannot suffer. Your children, even when you are not there, will be praying for you, will really appreciate the effort you have actually done in their life. So you need to build up a succession plan, which is what I call generational wealth, where your wealth can go from you to your children can transfer the wealth, so it becomes what? A generational legacy at the end of the day. Most people are not conscious of this, and that's why a lot of families today are actually suffering, because we don't make adequate plan even when we are alive and we have the opportunity of doing the right thing. We are always very secretive. A lot of people today that have known that they die today, their families don't even know where their lands are, how many lands they have, how many houses they have, how much they have in their bank account, and the rest of them, because they are no longer there. They are no longer there. So to avoid this problem, you need a succession plan. You need to build up what I call wealth legacy, generational wealth from you to your children.